Most men think intimacy begins in the bedroom, but the truth? It starts long before that. And if you're a man over 50, this becomes even more important because real intimacy at this stage of life isn't about rushing, proving, or performing. It's about presence. It's about the quiet moments that make her feel seen, safe, and cherished in ways many younger men overlook. Today, I want to share something deeply meaningful, 3 kissing spots that can spark emotional and physical intimacy in women. Spots most men completely ignore, yet have the power to awaken connection, trust, and even lifelong affection. Stay with me until the end, because I'll also share a bonus gesture, one simple touch, that speaks louder than any words. But first, make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? I love hearing from men all over the world who are learning to love with more intention and confidence. Here's the truth most men never hear. Intimacy doesn't begin with a kiss. It begins with how that kiss feels. When you kiss her with intention, not hunger, not pressure, but care, her body and brain respond in powerful, biological ways. Neuroscience shows that certain areas of the skin are directly connected to emotional memory and trust responses in the brain. When these areas are kissed or gently touched, they trigger the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and lower cortisol, the stress hormone. That's why the right kind of kiss, in the right place, can do far more than ignite passion. It can melt defenses, deepen connection, and make her feel safe enough to open up emotionally. And that's the real secret. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her desire follows naturally. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, a practicing urologist with over 5 years of experience helping men understand their bodies, relationships, and emotional well-being, especially in midlife and beyond. Over the years, I've spoken with countless men who feel frustrated or disconnected in their intimate lives, not because they don't care, but because no one ever taught them that intimacy isn't about performance. It's about presence, patience, and emotional awareness. And that's exactly what we're going to explore together today. Let's start the countdown from the first subtle, emotional spot to the most deeply intimate. The nape of her neck, the place of trust. Imagine this. She's standing close to you, her hair brushed to one side, and you lean in, gently. You pause, not rushing, and let your lips rest softly at the base of her neck, just beneath her hairline. That's not just a kiss, that's a message. Biologically, the back of the neck, the nape, is rich with nerve endings connected to the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotion and memory. When you kiss her there, you're not just touching skin, you're activating emotion. It's also a vulnerable spot. She can't see you there. She has to trust you. That's why a slow, intentional kiss on her neck says more than words ever could. It says, I see you. I cherish you. I'm not here to take, I'm here to understand. When a woman feels that, truly feels it, her entire body relaxes, her guard lowers. She begins to associate your presence with safety. And when she feels safe, she opens up not just physically, but emotionally. But if the nape of her neck is about trust, the next spot is about connection. 2, just behind her ear, the gateway to emotional bonding. This spot is one of the most underestimated, yet it's deeply powerful. The area just behind the ear, where her skin meets the curve of her jaw, connects directly to the brain's pleasure and bonding centers. When kissed gently, this area triggers oxytocin, the same hormone that strengthens attachment and emotional closeness. Think about it, we use our ears for whispers, secrets, and laughter. The space just behind them? It's private territory. It's where intimacy feels both emotional and physical at once. But here's the mistake many men make. They treat it like a shortcut. They rush. They miss the emotional buildup. Instead, take your time. Let the moment breathe. A soft kiss behind her ear, paired with a quiet whisper, something sincere, like, you look peaceful tonight, can send a wave of warmth through her entire body. Why? Because it connects physical sensation to emotional meaning. And that combination is magnetic, especially for women in long-term relationships who crave feeling desired and understood. For men over 50, this is your advantage. You know patience. You've lived enough life to appreciate subtlety. You understand that real intimacy isn't about impressing her, it's about connecting with her. When you linger behind her ear, you're saying, I choose you, not just for how you look, but for who you are when the world isn't watching. But what if I told you the most powerful spot of all isn't about desire at all? It's about reverence. 3. The inner wrist, the place of reverence and presence. This one surprises most men. The inside of her wrist, delicate, soft, and often overlooked, carries her pulse, her rhythm, her unspoken emotional state. When you take her hand in yours and place a gentle kiss there, it's not about seduction, it's about respect. From a biological standpoint, this area is highly sensitive because the skin is thin with nerve endings close to the surface. That's why it responds so deeply to gentle touch. And emotionally, touching her pulse connects you to her heartbeat literally and symbolically. Psychologists have found that this kind of mindful touch activates the brain regions responsible for empathy and connection. In other words, when you kiss her wrist, you're telling her, I see your humanity, I value the little things, I'm not in a hurry, I'm present with you. That presence is what most women long for, especially in long-term relationships where life's noise often drowns out tenderness. So next time you're sitting together, maybe during a quiet conversation, take her hand, pause, and gently press your lips to her wrist. Don't make it dramatic, make it meaningful. Because that kind of kiss doesn't say, I want you. It says, I cherish you. And that's what stays with her long after the moment ends. Now, let's talk about a few more intimate places. These are not for the beginning of a relationship. They're for when trust, comfort, and love are already present. If the first 3 spots were about inviting connection, these are about deepening it. One of the most powerful is the hollow of her collarbone right above her chest. It's close to her heart, both literally and symbolically. A slow kiss there can feel like a quiet promise. I honor your essence, not just your body. Then there's the inside of her elbow. It might sound unusual, but the skin there is incredibly sensitive. A soft kiss can send shivers through her body precisely because it's unexpected. And finally, when trust runs deep, the stomach or the curve of her hip bones. These are tender, self-conscious areas for many women. But when you approach them with tenderness, not hunger, you communicate something powerful. I love every part of you, even the parts you try to hide. When done with care, these gestures awaken a sense of acceptance that's far stronger than desire. They say, you are safe, you are loved, you are beautiful just as you are. Before I share my special announcement, here's one last gesture that isn't a kiss, but it's just as intimate. It's the gentle placement of your hand on her lower back. This area carries emotional weight, stress, responsibility, the burdens she doesn't always express. When you rest your hand there with care, you're silently saying, you're not alone, I've got you. Biologically, this activates her parasympathetic nervous system, the body's calm and connect mode, lowering her heart rate and easing tension. That's why, during a slow dance or a quiet walk, when your hand rests there and she leans back into you, it's not choreography, it's trust, it's emotional surrender. So how can you bring this into your real life? Start small. You don't need to plan a grand romantic gesture. You just need presence. Pause more, don't rush, let moments breathe. Touch intentionally. A single kiss, when given with care, means more than 100 done out of habit. Notice her reactions. Watch her body language, her breath, her eyes. Connection is a conversation, not a routine. Make comfort your goal, not performance. The more safe she feels, the deeper the passion will grow naturally. Practice gratitude. Each time you connect, take a mental note. This is what love feels like. Over time, these small changes create something extraordinary, not just physical pleasure, but emotional freedom and closeness that lasts. If you're listening to this and thinking, maybe I've lost that spark, I want to tell you something important you haven't. Intimacy isn't lost with age, it's refined. You've lived enough to understand patience, empathy, and the value of real connection, and that makes you more attractive, not less. Your age isn't a limitation, it's your advantage. Every man, no matter his stage in life, can learn to love with gentleness, confidence, and respect. You just have to slow down and listen. So remember, intimacy isn't about performance. It's about presence, the nape of her neck, the space behind her ear, the pulse of her wrist. Each of these carries a message far deeper than touch. They say, I see you, I respect you, I choose you. And when you add the moments of deeper trust, the collarbone, the inside of the elbow, even her hip, you're not taking, you're cherishing. You're giving her something most women crave but rarely receive: emotional safety. And when you learn to kiss her with reverence instead of hunger, you'll discover that passion doesn't fade with age, it transforms. Gentlemen, if this message spoke to you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with another man who deserves to rediscover real connection. And keep an eye out, my new ebook is coming soon, packed with deeper insights and step-by-step ways to build emotional and physical intimacy, designed especially for men over 50. Because when you lead with respect, you don't just create moments of passion, you create memories that last a lifetime. Amen.